Good morning. Today's date is August 14th, 2025. We're here at the Evansville Wartime Museum, and we have a lovely couple here, Mr. and Mrs. Brown. B-R-O-W-N. And Mr. Brown will say his full name and spell it.
Fred Carroll Brown.
Spell it.
F-R-E-D-C-A-R-O-L-B-R-O-W-N.
And you were born what year?
34.
What's the date?
7/16/34.
Okay. And this young lady next to him, give us your full name and spell it, and birth date if you want.
All right, Betty Henderson Brown, Bettyhenderson, BROWN, and my birthday is January 3rd, 1935.
Okay. So you, Robin the Cradle, she's a year younger than you.
Well, we was high school
Well, he's
sweethearts.
6 months older than me.
But in the same high school class?
Yes,
But they didn't have mixed classes, or they did?
and they did.
Yeah. Isn't that something? And that was what city where you were high school?
Tuscaloosa.
So we got the roll tide here.
Roll Tide.
He got those red suspenders for the roll tide.
Hey,
Right.
They knew Bear Bryant and Saban. They knew them all. They saw Joe Namath.
Right, I did. I used to watch Joe Namath as well.
He was Hollywood Joe, or Broadway Joe. Well, he's the best. Broadway Joe. He was the fastest delivery. Went to the New York Jets and told him how to do it.
Yeah.
Now, we're a wartime museum, so what we're going to do is ask some questions, and you can chime in, Mrs. Brown, if you want. I'm going to hit Fred on several of these questions. First, Fred, tell us when you got into the Navy. Tell you went to say what year you got in the Navy, where you went to boot camp, and then when was your first ship?
Got Navy in November
Yeah.
of 52. Went to boot camp, San Diego. Camp Elliott is called. And then from there, I went 2 weeks leave actually. Then I went there to Barbers Point, Hawaii. And from there, I came back to the States and went to schools and stuff like that.
And then tell us your ships in chronological
I
order.
was never stationed on a ship. I was on aircraft carriers. The Roosevelt, the Independence, Constitution, the Forrestal, and some I can't even remember.
Okay, we have all the things from the Roosevelt, the FDR. It was christened about 45, and we have one of our docents here that was on it in 1971 during Vietnam era. But it was an important aircraft carrier, and a guy named that was in Iglehart Gardens. He was their rider on a ship and gave us all their photographs. So the Washington was important. But those are all aircraft carriers. So you were ship's company. You wore black shoes, not brown shoes.
No, sir. I wasn't sea duty.
You don't see duty, but you
I
would
was-
support it.
Squadrons I was in, we'd be say like stationed in Sanford, Florida. We'd get orders and go aboard to a certain carrier for 6 months over in the Mid or wherever, then we'd come back to Sanford. But I was never actually stationed, ship company, on a ship.
So you're with the brown shoes. You're with the squadrons.
Yeah.
You're with the squadrons. So
Squadron.
they're the brown shoes, and so an aircraft carrier is paralyzed if it comes into shore with all its planes. So it leaves without its planes, and then the planes all fly to the aircraft carrier. Because what happens if in war they come and bomb you in port, they don't want to get caught in port. All right, so tell us just about some of your experiences, Fred, in each one of those. Start whatever you can remember that sort of is interesting for somebody.
I gotta think. All right. I've got 144 what they consider combat missions. I've got 3 air medals. I got the Gedunk medal, which everybody knows what I'm talking about and
You,
stuff like
you
that.
explain it, people don't know.
Yeah.
Tell us what the Gedunk medal is.
Pardon?
Tell me what-
Gedunk is when you first join the service, and it's a little thing about that long, and everybody got it called the Gedunk medal. And stuff like that, but my most experience was on the Carrier Forestall, in the 70, 74, around through there. Had a fire, and the reason we had the fire, these hot shot pilots we had, they would arm them on the back of the Carrier, and then they'd go up to the catapult and shoot off. But they started complaining and it took too long. So they started arming them up at the front bow. And one time when they armed them, a rocket flew. And that started everything. We lost 123 men on the ship, stuff like that. And I watched it from the tower of thing. I seen John McCain in his cockpit. He crawled out of his cockpit and out in front of the plane and swung down on the air refueling probe and it got on the deck. And also they've got a fire department crew someplace in Virginia. There was a chief, fire department, and when the explosion started, him and his crew started running towards the explosion. Well, the night before, we loaded World War II bombs, thin stuff. And he seen what it was, and one of them exploded, and that's the last you ever seen of him or his crew. Stuff like that. But
When a aircraft carrier, because I've talked to the guys on the Oriskany and it caught on fire a couple times, but you could see them hosing things down and your feet got so hot, they were hosing the fireman's feet because it was like a hot plate on that top, on the tarmac of the plane, of the ship. So you saw all kinds of chaos, losing 123 men, and it probably hurt the ship. And bombs would explode. Not the rocket, when it went off, it hit something, and then the bombs hit something.
yeah, the rocket went off and hit a bomb. It blew a hole in the flight deck and stuff like that. And after things calmed down a little bit, they wanted people to go down in the hole and look and see. I volunteered one time. I went down the hole, looked what I found, all that stuff. I climbed out and I never went back down in that hole again.
Saw a lot of dead people.
Parts.
A lot of parts and parts of people.
Yeah, the bomb exploded over berthing deck. Kawarma.
Now, tell us where you were located at. Were you over in the Vietnam area, or where were
Yes,
you?
sir.
You were there?
It was scheduled for a strike in the Vietnam that morning.
Tonkin Bay? What bay were you in, or somewhere around there?
Yeah,
And you were scheduled for a strike, and all hell broke loose.
yeah.
Then where did you go to port to take care of the ship? Did it go into Japan?
They went back to Cubic Port, Philippines,
Yeah.
and we flew home and stuff like that, and then the ship came around the Horn.
Cape of Good Horn didn't go
Yeah.
through. It didn't go through the Suez Canal.
No, they went around the Horn.
But was it crippled? Did it have a hole in the outside?
No, just a flight deck.
Just a flight deck. I see.
You couldn't land, take off, or nothing.
Did you bury people at
At
sea?
sea,
You
yes,
you
sir.
put them in a bag and gave them a burial the next day or 2 days afterwards or
I
something?
don't remember the exact number of days, but yes, I watched that.
And so that's a very remarkable time, 73, 74, the 4. So did you have any other things with any of the other aircraft carriers that you can remember that would just stand out in your memory?
No, sir.
That was a horrible day for you.
Yes.
You'll never forget that day. You'll never
That day.
forget. Yeah. And let me tell the story about in World War II, the Aberdeen. Tell us
Yeah,
about.
I was, in Mississippi, there's Amer, Aberdeen, and there's Amer, Mississippi, and Aberdeen, Mississippi, 13 miles apart, and had a railroad track through it. And there's a kid, 6, 7, 8 years, 5 or 5 years, we would learn when the troop trains and the prisoner trains would be coming through, and we'd go down to the railroad track, and the soldiers would pull off the shoulder patches and throw them to us. That's, you know,
That's pretty interesting. And then they're from Alabama, so Foley just got named a World War II heritage city. It's the only one in Alabama because they had a big troop training there.
Yeah.
Now, Ms. Brown tells a story or two. You were talking about your postcard or something. Anything you got to add to the war that you, when you grew up, you remember? Tell us just one story about you remembering.
Well, in Tuscaloosa, we had a army hospital for prisoners. And I lived not far from there. I used to ride my bicycle. We could ride a bicycle around and see the prisoners inside the fence and the guards up on top of the fence.
So they were German or Japanese prisoners,
Yeah, they were all prisoners.
and they were sick or they in the hospital, yeah.
Yeah, so they had that, and they called it Northington General Hospital.
Uh-huh.
And the posts that were up at the entrances are still there, as monuments more than anything
In
else.
Tuscaloosa,
Yeah,
yeah,
in
we'll have to go
Tuscaloosa.
see that sometime.
Yeah,
Okay, well, thank you both for taking this interview, and I'll have my girls fill this paperwork out for you, and then we'll continue our tour.
okay.
Thank you again, Mr. and Miss Brown.